Okay, so a few weeks ago, I made a magnolia wreath over on Amazon Live. Did I love that magnolia wreath? No, I did not. I was not happy with it. So let's do round two. What did I do? I made it again. So let's do it the right way this time. Let's make a magnolia wreath. Okay, you know the drill. We're going to get our wood burner tool out and we are going to cut our mesh. Now this is mesh that I had purchased at Hobby Lobby because I didn't have any other white poly burlap, so we're going to use Hobby Lobby's. And this is also a cutting board that you can get at Hobby Lobby in the back of the store. Great deal, great find, okay? So we're going to cut our petals at 10 inches long. And we're going to do both rolls of these. Will I use all the petals? No, but we'll come close to it. So 10 inches. Then you're going to grab your 8-inch wreath form that we are going to do a little bit of a tracing of the plastic canvas. I'm going to cut it out and we're going to connect it to the wreath form. So here's the thing. Not only are you going to cut your white, but you're also going to cut some green and brown. So when you get your poly burlap or your mesh, you'll need some for the leaves and some for the petals. But as I make all this connect, we are just going to connect it to the wreath frame and then we're going to do the leaves first. So it's pretty simple and pretty easy, but the first time I made this wreath, I just wasn't happy with it. So we're going to connect a 8-inch zip tie to the outer ring here, and then we're going to grab a piece of olive green poly burlap. We cut this at 10 inches each. We're going to make sure that we do a triangle, and then I'm going to fold under one end, and then we are going to gather it, okay? So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to put this to the side. I'm going to get my little chip clip out here, and we're going to secure it all together here in a moment. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to put 3 of these petals together. Now you're only going to need 2 brown pieces of poly burlap if you want to add it. If you just want to do green, that's okay too. Sometimes when I cut my poly burlap, I'm not right at 10 inches, so I may have to adjust the petal a little bit. But we're going to add the green, a brown, and 1 more green. We're only going to do 2 sets of petals on this wreath, but again, we're doing that daisy petal and it's pretty simple, and the whole wreath is made with the same petal. I like to fold under the one side and then put it together. So we're going to add these all together so that we have a little bit of the brown as well as the green. Then I'm going to take a little rubber band, and this is actually one of those elastics that I would put in my little girl's hair, and she still uses them even though she's 13 now. But we're going to just put it on the end because it's going to help keep it all together, and then I'm going to put it on the wreath form. Now, if you watch some of this, you know that I don't always do my petals first, but with this particular wreath, we're going to do the petals, all right? So we're going to clip off that little thing, and just like that, we have 2 leaf petals on each side. So now we're going to work on the second wire into this wreath form. I'm going to take an 8-inch zip tie. I love to get these at Amazon, and I will leave the link down in the description box below. Again, make a triangle. You're going to make a triangle. You're going to fold under about 2 inches, and then you're just going to gather it and form your petal. Now, we are going to flip the petal once we get everything on there. We're going to kind of flip them forward to give more of a magnolia leaf look. And listen, I love magnolias. They're just absolutely stunning. The first time I ever saw an actual magnolia tree was a few years ago in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So one of the things that I want you to keep in mind is you're just going to be putting about 6 petals on each side of these leaves. So you're going to see this in a moment and understand it a little bit better too. But this is just a really easy and straightforward type of wreath, but it's also a beautiful wreath. And I really feel like using the 2 different sections of the leaves is a little bit different than maybe putting leaves all the way around, okay? So keep doing this and add them to your wreath form, and I think you'll be really happy with the outcome. It's really pretty once we get it all together. But I always go live on Amazon, and I did this a few weeks ago, and I just wasn't happy with it. Sometimes when I'm making videos, I'm making them for the first time over on Amazon, and that was one of those occasions. Okay, let's do the second part. You are going to take that middle canvas piece that you added at the very beginning. You're going to go on the inside and come out the other side of that wreath frame, okay? We're going to make some more of the same petals for this. Yes, we are, and it's going to be simple. And you could do a whole lot of different things in the middle. If you don't want to make this a magnolia wreath, maybe you want to put a regular ready-made censer, or maybe you want to watch one of the videos that I've made about wreath censers. I did this a few years ago, and we just kind of compiled a bunch of different wreath censers from different videos, and we put it here on YouTube. But you're going to make another layer of petals, and I wish it went this quickly. I really do. And then once you get it done, I'm going to be like, oh, are we going to do one more? Yeah, we're going to do one more here to make sure that it evens out. So we're doing about 7 petals on the inside. And again, we did 12 petals on the outside. So keep that in mind. And then it'll kind of vary on the very center of this wreath how many petals we'll need to do. But again, pretty straightforward and pretty simple. And if you've watched before, you guys know we love to make flower wreaths here. So one of the things I do is I just make sure that whatever the finished side is, we put it over top of the other. It's a little bit harder to see here with white mesh, but I do like the looks of it. This is where I go through and I start cupping that petal forward. You're just going to gently pull on it. I feel like different poly burlap materials are a little bit easier. But now we're going to do the very center. So you're going to make a triangle, and then you're going to make another triangle. And we're making a very small, like daisy petal. You're going to take one of those little elastics, and you're going to put it around it, because we're going to get rid of the extra on this petal. It'll make it easier when you want to put a center for this wreath. So once you get that done, I want you to get either a very strong pair of scissors or one of those cutting tools that I show you guys. I don't know that I used it in this video, because my scissors that I used from Amazon, these are really great. If you don't have these, you need these. So you're gonna make about 7 of these petals, and it's pretty simple, and you're just gonna need to make a triangle, another triangle, and then you're going to gather at the bottom, and it's just a basic mini daisy petal, okay? And again, get another elastic and add it to the bottom, and then you're just going to clip off the extra, because the extra that's here, we don't need that on our wreath. So we're going to get rid of that, and it's going to make it a lot easier as we put it all together. So the next step is to put all those petals into place. So you're going to take your zip tie and you're going to add it into that plastic canvas that you put in the wreath frame at the very beginning. And you're going to keep it pretty tight. You're going to keep it pretty close together with these zip ties, and you're going to make sure that you go in such a way that we don't have any open spots. The fact that we're using these zip ties, they're clear and the mesh is white, helps hide all of our little imperfections, which I like with the Magnolia Wreath. So again, I do like the clear plastic ties too, it helps. But you're just going to add these in, and it might be a tight fit, but you can make it work and keep it as tight as you can. We used about 7 of these, I believe, but that's how we put it all together. I want to add that if you want to make this a bigger wreath, then just use a bigger wreath form. Yes, you will need more petals on each layer, but I think that you could make it look really pretty if you want a bigger look. Now, once we get that all in, we're going to add some little pine cones. and I used what I had on hand. I had 3 of these. I would like to have used a bigger one, but I didn't have any. So we're going to make 3 of them work. And again, use your imagination. If you saw that little subscribe sign at the top of the screen, make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already, and click that notification bell. We do send out emails, and if you're not on my email list, guys, you're going to want to be on my email list, because you know what? I'm going to give this wreath away. And that's what I do with my wreaths these days. I don't really sell them. I give them to people on my email list. So if you want to get into the know, and if you're not on my email list, go to the description box, click on the link, sign up. You'll even get a free tutorial. Okay, there's lots of goodies in my email list, and that's how I give them away. So we're going to have a backing on this wreath. We glued our 3 little pine cones in the center, and you're just going to need to let that set up. And then I'm going to trace this felt that I had on hand. I got this at Hobby Lobby, I believe, and I'm just going to cut out that center, and we're going to add it to the back of our frame, because I like a finished backing to my flowers. And if you've ever watched any of my tutorials, you know that we've done this before. So we're going to flip over our wreath. We're going to be really gentle with it. We're going to grab some scissors, and I'm going to cut little holes in the back side of this felt. I poke the holes in it, I fold it over, and then we're going to add some zip ties. But listen, if you have made it all the way through this tutorial, you've watched the whole thing, do me a favor. I always ask you guys to add something to the comment section, right? But this week we're going to have you add leaf emojis. I know that there's leaves, trees, leaves, something with greenery. Add it to the comment section, and I would so appreciate that. And you know what? Where did you find out about this video? Did YouTube recommend it to you? Did you find out in my email list, or did you find it on social media? So make sure you're following me on all the social medias. If you love Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, I'm there, and I want to connect with you. So one more thing, guys. All right, there's one more thing. I've started a new Facebook group. It's a free group. It doesn't cost you anything. Join that group. It's called Craft, Create, Connect with Julie's Wreath Boutique. And I want to see you, and I want to see this wreath that you made. So once you get all your little zip ties in it, you're going to flip them underneath the wreath form, and boom, you got a beautiful wreath to share on your front door. I love how she turned out. Isn't she pretty? Okay, so you've watched the whole video. So do me a favor. Again, leave me a leaf down into the comments, and let me know if you're going to give this a try. And we will be back next Sunday night with a brand new video. So let's get to crafting. And I hope this inspires you to get crafty. See you next week.